We've identified the roles and responsibilities in the Centre of Excellence team. Now, let's look at the 6 steps needed to implement RPA. Identify and assess the process. Is it suitable? What's the benefit? Prioritize. Get stakeholders together to design the solution. Streamline and optimize the process first. Hand over to the developer team to build. Assist with user acceptance testing. Proof of value. Did it work? Did it create benefit? Launch your first pilot. Organize a small-scale rollout before you're ready for the full rollout. Along the top is communicate and educate. It's vital that you communicate early and frequently so stakeholders feel involved and stay engaged. By empowering your stakeholders, they'll be motivated to identify their own opportunities for change, which means you have a lot more pairs of eyes looking for automation opportunities. Along the bottom is lessons learned. The proof of concept in the pilot stage is a big learning experience. This is where you quickly discover unexpected difficulties and will uncover the best way to automate that works for your business. This will help you to design the implementation plan for the main event, the full rollout. Before you start a project, check lessons learned from previous robotic process automation projects. The first step of forming a plan and identifying quick wins takes up the majority of the business analyst's time. Identifying the right processes is a be-all and end-all, because a badly chosen process can stall the program, so make sure you have this backed up by data, and you fully involve the process subject matter expert to sense-check your findings. There are 4 steps to refining your automation catalog. Start with discussions with business leaders to understand what their pain points and issues are. Ask the key stakeholder or team manager to assign you a subject matter expert to assist with collecting data on all manual processes and build a list. Remember that they have a day job too, so use their time wisely. Analyzing process documents and work instructions can minimize time for SMEs. However, without guidance, this can be a lengthy process if documents aren't complete, clear, or correctly stored. Workshops are great if working with large teams. However, with small teams, it's unrealistic to have most of them away from their desks, so small groups or one-on-one interviews are best. Once you have a clear understanding of the processes and what they need, and once you've established a relationship with the team, sending out a questionnaire saves time, because it's to the point, so avoids any digression from the questions which can happen in conversations, and it also allows your team to get on with something else while the data is being collected for you. In a one-to-one session or in a questionnaire, use this 8-question checklist for the SMEs to complete for each process. Does the process need human intuition? Is it stable with low variability? Is it rules-based? Is it a high-volume process compared to others? Is it digitized end-to-end? Are there any pending changes in the next 3 to 6 months? Is the process manual and repetitive? Is the input standardized? High volume is very subjective, so advise the SME that this is a comparative to everything else they do rather than a numeric threshold. If there are hundreds of processes, you may want to do a Pareto chart beforehand to focus in on the few processes that take up the most manual effort. Here's a list of example processes to look for and processes to avoid. You need the volume per month and cycle time or average handling time of each process in your list. Then, by calculating effort, volume times average handling time, you can put the processes in size order, with the processes that take up the most effort at the top. By calculating an accumulative percentage of the total effort, you'll be able to find which processes add up to 80% of the team's time. You may be surprised to see that it's only a handful, about a fifth of all their processes. Now we have a much shorter list, you can dive into the detail and start prioritizing in waves. By using the complexity matrix in the technical questionnaire included in your toolkit, work with the SMEs to start scoring and quantifying how complex a process would be to develop, looking at things like the number of screens, systems used, and how many steps and decision points are in each process. Also score and try to quantify the amount of financial and intangible benefit you get from automating these processes. The Automation Analyzer plots this on the opportunities map to sort out the processes into 4 categories. Big quick wins, shown in the top right, are the gems. They may be quite rare, but they're easy to automate and provide massive benefit. Whereas long terms provide big benefits, but can take a long time to build. At the bottom left are must-dos. They take up a lot of effort and don't give much financial return on investment, but are probably business-critical processes which you must do, hence the name. After all this work is done, you'll have a data-backed recommendation for a way forward, which has involved the SMEs throughout. Just like any great monomyth, your journey ends where it began, to play back your findings to the business lead. Please remember, as an internal or perhaps external consultant, you are there as an advisor. The final decision must be made by the business.